Hey.
What's up, PB?
What's up? We still got the
Yeah, we're gonna edit that part out. Here we go. That was how
I can't see you.
Help!
Hold on, we went live. Hold on, let me see what happened here. We went live.
We're already live.
Let me
Help!
yeah, hold on. Let me see what happened here. Okay.
Yeah, we get to edit it out. So good.
That's all good. But it's
Welcome
fun.
to Disruptor Media, everybody. Welcome back.
Well, yeah, we were on a pause there, but we had some things that we're traveling, right? We were doing some things,
Yes.
educating ourselves and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Networking, being out in the world. And now we
Yeah.
get to come back to the lovely podcast, thankfully.
Lollipop. Shout out to the Yankees though. And you got your hat on. So we got to shout out to the Yankees. Let's
Real
keep
quick.
it going.
Go on. Please. Toronto Blue Jays up next. So happy to put Boston to bed. Just saying. Shout out to our Boston fans, whoever's tuning in from Boston. But you're
Shout out to Boston fans. I'm not better. But thank you, Yankees.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Now we just need our Giants to go. Yay. Jeez. Come on, jeez. Shout out to Russell Williams. Williams. Ooh, Russell. Sorry. Wilson. Sorry.
Russell Wilson. Yeah. I mean, look, New York's gonna do their best. Every team's gonna do their best. But definitely, Paula and I are into sports, so we hope to bring that into the mix really soon. But today, we are here to talk about our summit. We have our third annual virtual summit coming up on October 25th of this year, of this month. And our focus this year is going to be the future of work. As many of you know, and may have even personally experienced, the job landscapes are changing and they're changing fast. Yeah. And one thing that's important for us to do is, yes, to bring you the most current and relevant news of today. But the purpose of our summit is truly to prepare you with the practical skills that you'll need for the future of work. So this conversation is definitely for those who are already in the workforce, definitely for our students who are getting prepared to go into the workforce. This is important information for you to know of what's needed as you prepare to start your career. And then I think too that we're definitely going to talk a lot about of skill sets that I think is generally needed. Like you can use it at any point. So even if you're not working right now or considering going back to work, so definitely for my retirees, I think this conversation is still worth listening to.
Oh yeah. Well, I won't say, I was going to say elderly, but I won't say that. I would just say the older generation that is still in the workforce or that's at least doing something in the workforce or going back into the workforce. Those skill sets are needed too. You've got the experience of other things, but bringing that experience along with new skill sets is just going to only enhance the experience and also bring knowledge to other people. So I think across the board, if you're able-bodied doing what you're doing, it's for everybody. Yeah. It's for everybody, and it applies for everybody. I mean, just like I'll just use my sales background and say that I accidentally went into sales. People say, "Oh, I don't know how to sell," but you sell yourself every day.
Oh, absolutely.
You close the closing as you asking for something.
Oh yeah.
So that's the close if people don't get it. But that's a skill. That's your soft skills. Or you can say soft skills. But I'm not gonna take the thunder. Shayna, I know that you want to do the introduction and get it going. Or
by all means, let's let this flow because you brought up two really great points. First and foremost, we still have to have our conversation around generations, right? And
yeah.
When we say terms like older, younger, right? There's two different extremes. So I would hope that no one is offended. Yeah. But we're really talking about the different generations and how it's going to apply in the future. Because even if you're retired, um, and this is coming from me personally, I truly believe that we want to be considerate of how we are securing our financial assets. And
Mm,
in that, I highly encourage people to think about how they can get creative. And to your point, Paula, still sell yourself. We sell ourselves every day, or we're selling something. We still need to make transactions, and we want to. It is very clear that we in America should not be dependent upon the government for a lot of things, especially when it comes to our finances. Like when we're talking about generations, right? Generations before us. So baby boomers, even Gen X, right?
shout
There's
out to Gen X.
also Gen X, okay? There's this conversation around pension plans,
Yeah.
conversations around social security, funds that used to be sold, right? We're talking about selling things sold as being secure, security for the future. So I know for me, my mom, who's a baby boomer, spent at least 30 years as a nurse tech to secure her pension plan and
Hmm.
social security funds, which may or may not be available for my generation as a millennial. Surely, if all goes accordingly to certain agendas, will not be available to Gen Alpha and beyond that.
Mm-mm.
And I think it's important to, really look at the nuances of change over time in this evolving landscape, because we're in our fifth industrial revolution. We're in the digital age. And this is why this conversation is so important, because it is changing the way that we work.
Yep.
And even if we're not technically working in the workforce, we still want to be mindful about our family members and our friends, and being comfortable in these conversations and really understanding how to leverage what's at hand instead of being at disadvantage, how we can be at advantage.
Yeah. Well, we have to be, because the way the world is evolving, and I just came from the conference that I came from, and the world was about talking about AI, 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 AI.
Well, which conference did you go to, Paula?
It
And where?
was it was a Congressional Caucus conference last week, and it was all about AI, AI, AI wealth, AI in education, AI in innovation. Then it was blockchain, cryptocurrency. It's all the stuff that we're currently dealing with, and it's and then in the workforce. How the skill sets you're going to need in the workforce. And as you keep hearing announcements right now, we're shut down in the government. Right now, you're seeing layoffs in different tech.
Yeah.
Some of these tech companies are laying off because of what is happening in the emerging technology field, where a lot of jobs are evolving, and you're going to need the AI skill set. However, you know, it's nothing to be afraid of. That was kind of what the conversation was. It's not to be afraid of. It's just like when when there were second when typewriters came on, it made the lives of people easier because now you can type, right? But as we start evolving into internet and into Microsoft coming up with Word, it was just like, oh, and anybody
Yeah.
lived through those times are like, oh my God, first off the internet, and then and then Microsoft coming up with these words, and you're like,
Yeah.
so that
I'm with
evolved and replaced a lot of people in terms of their jobs. And it's just the same way as AI is going to do. AI is all AI is doing is it's going to eliminate some of the redundancies in our job, but it's going to help us increase our productivity and allow us to do the job faster.
Yeah.
And those people who adapt early are the ones who are going to be a little bit more advanced and secure versus those who are a little slow to adapt.
Yeah.
But overall, we're in a situation in global on a U.S., local, regional, national, global, where I remember back in the 90s where I live, in the state of where I live, we were already in a shortage of workforce.
Mm,
Um, and they were talking about STEM at the time, right?
mm,
People got to know STEM. And now we're evolving in this emerging technology, and now it's the same thing. We're still short. And if we continue to be short, we're falling behind. And when you look at what's happening with people coming in with the visas, I won't go into politics on that, but I'm just saying that has a factor too, because a lot of people come in and help the country, build the country with skill sets or add to it. And if that's going to, depending on where it goes, then we really need to, all of us, step up and really look at our skill sets and be able to fill some of those jobs. There's opportunity. That's all I'm saying. There's opportunity.
This opportunity, yeah. Some words that I appreciate that you mentioned, Paula, that plays off of what I was mentioning in terms of security. If you are wanting job security, financial security, you definitely want to attend the summit, because these are the things that we're going to be talking about, is how to actually secure these things that now feels really unstable with the way that we were working beforehand, and what we are realizing that the job landscape is evolving to. So at the summit, we're going to teach you how to future proof your skills,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Skills that you have right now, the skills that you're learning, or skills that you don't have. This is the conversation that we're talking about, so that you can have that security, so that you can have that freedom of choice, and be at an advantage instead of a disadvantage. So make sure that you scan this QR code that you see here. We also have a link down in the description box below, so that you can register yourselves for the free virtual summit that's coming up on October 25th. And some other words that we mentioned here was skills. So when we talk about skill sets, there's two categories that typically comes up. There's hard skills, and then there's soft skills, right? So we're going to go into what those are, and then how they play a factor, or how they will play a factor, how they're playing a factor now, how they will play a factor in the future of work. So,
Oh, I'm loving this slide.
oh
Very
yeah,
nice.
thank you.
Purple is my favorite color, by the way, but I'm just saying I love this slide.
Also, the color of the Dow. Shout out to Disruptor Dow one
Shout
time.
out.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, there's soft skills and there's hard skills, right? So, we're going to talk about what some soft skills are. Paula, you talked about STEM earlier, and when I hear STEM, and for those of us who don't know, that's going to be science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are really key roles in advancing technology. And this is what is disrupting a lot of the workforce, right? Is these emerging technologies. However, now the soft skills is more of the intangible things that we're able to provide to a job that doesn't necessarily require our hands, I would say, right? Because if I think about the way that the job landscape has evolved, if I think about engineers, if and scientists, right, they work a lot with their hands. Those are going to be more of the hard skills, right? Using a microscope and using tools. But soft skills are a little bit different. And so some of the soft skills that we believe that's going to be needed in the future still, even in regards to some of the emerging technologies like AI, for example, which in mainstream media would say is taking over our jobs. But
Mm-hmm.
what we're saying here at Disruptor DAO is that it's actually going to make us more efficient, proficient, effective in our jobs, and actually help us to buy back time, both as the employee and the employer,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can do more. But one thing that I know for sure, we all know for sure, AI cannot do currently, and probably is never going to be able to do for real, because it's not human, right? It's still technology, is embody some of these soft skills, such as communication.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is a very unique tool to the human species. I talk about this quite often, because communication is one of the highest levels of value that we get to deliver to the community, right? And there's different ways of communicating, but there is a need, and will always be a need inside of the workforce to communicate. Another soft skill would be empathy. Again, another soft skill that AI maybe can mimic really well. But think about when you're person to person, when you're actually talking to another human being, being able to empathize, to put ourselves in our customer shoes, or to put ourselves, even if this is personal, right, in our family shoes, and being able to understand how someone feels is going to be a really unique soft skill when it comes to thinking about the future of work. And two more here is going to be creativity is next.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're the most creative species as well on the planet. Um, our entire world has been manifested out of creativity, right? Even the seats that we're sitting on right now, the screens that we're looking at right now, this is all manifested in the mind's eye first. So the ability to express our creativity, which I will say, if you're not doing that right now, again, this is something that we're going to talk about in the summit. Is really important. I've heard people say before, I'm not creative, and it's we're all creative.
You're all creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta tap in. You might not be
Define your creativity as
on
it's
your creativity.
yeah, it's not you can't where one person may be extremely you're creative as well. It's just a matter of how you express your creativity.
How do you express your creativity? Right. And each person is unique and different. So it's great for someone who currently doesn't tap into their creativity. Just imagine how unique that's going to be, actually, because we haven't even seen it yet. So
Mhm.
that's going to be pretty cool. And then finally, another soft skill, which there are many, but here's our top four. And the last one is going to be leadership, right? Like, not just having a boss, y'all, but being a leader, not just
To
managing people, but leading people, being the pioneers in this space is a soft skill that's going to be very important in the future of work.
Yeah, I think when you talk about leadership, I go back to I haven't read the book, but I've seen snippets of Simon Sinek, who talks
Mm,
about his book about leadership and about him and his involvement with the military, and how he asked, I think it was either a general, I'm not sure, don't misquote me, um, about how they lead their leadership style. And I thought that
mm,
was really good, his statement. And if you haven't, if you know what I'm talking about, you can go out there and look at the snippets. But it stuck with me because it was like, it wasn't like they lead from behind and not in the front kind of way, because they make sure that their people are fed and have what they need to do their job, and then they're there. So I thought that was really profound, because when you think about workforce today and you think about leadership roles in the workforce, it's like, do we see that in some of our workforce? And you have your good and you have your bad, you have your in between people in terms of leadership, but in terms of as you're moving forward through your workforce and what your aspirations are, I would say look at some of the examples of good leadership and what does that entail
right.
in terms of good leadership, and that skill set alone will put you in a different bracket than some others that are out there, because we need good leaders in the workforce, and especially
Yeah.
in the business arena. So
Yeah. And these are skills that we can continuously enhance, right? Like, we get to become a leader, and then we get to become better leaders, and then we get to become better leaders. We get to continue to be creative, be more creative. And these are really people based, right? When we're talking about communication, empathy, creativity, and leadership, it's really unique to people. So, regardless of the emerging technologies that's seemingly disrupting the workforce in some of the best ways, and of course there's drawbacks, there's opposites to everything, right?
yeah,
So it's all about where we're focusing, y'all. We always to to the degree that we can, we want to focus on how to be optimistic about what's happening so that we can leave ourselves open to learn and leverage. Because otherwise, we shut ourselves off if we stay skeptical, cynical, and just turn our cheek. And we're really going to continue to nurture the people aspect. Paul, another thing you brought up earlier was customer service, right?
Yeah.
So there's chatbots everywhere now, and while chatbots are, again, they're a part of the advancing technologies that's meant to be helpful to the business, helpful to the consumer. I mean, there's sometimes where, especially if I'm on the phone, I'm done with the bot. Okay, I don't want to speak to the bot no more. I want to speak to a real person. There's no other time that I desperately want to speak to a real person than if
Especially when you're mad. But
especially when you're mad.
when you're mad, you're like, this is not right. But I think what on that side of the house, bots are great. Because bots will vet what you need to vet. Some of the questions, simple questions, can be answered through the bot.
Absolutely.
But when you have a customer who is upset,
unique problem,
then there should be a bypass that immediately puts them into the human factor. And I think that's where we're missing when it comes to technology. I think that's where the companies need to understand that bots are great to vet what they need to vet, simple questions that you can just like get off the answer. And this is where it goes back to the communication and having a bot. Then at some part, maybe the bots evolve where they will sense that a person is mad and be able to directly go to the human aspect. Hopefully. But I'm with you on that, because sometimes when you're on the phone, especially when you're talking about your computer and you're trying to get to the people you need to get to get your
bank account. Come on, bro.
I don't need, and you'd be like, customer service, please. I need to talk customer service. Customer service.
And they're like, to get you to the right agent, we need, and we're like,
your account number,
zero.
Your account number, please. No, I'm not giving you my account number right now. So, I mean, I think we've all experienced it, but I think at some point maybe that will evolve. I know,
so.
You know, I'm a sci-fi person, by the way. So, you know, when I think of all this, I'm always thinking about Battlestar Galactica and how it evolved into becoming what I won't spoil it for anybody who doesn't know Battlestar. But if you watch Battlestar Galactica, then you'll understand some of that. Yeah. If you watch Star Trek, I'm a Trekkie. If you watch Star Trek, you understand the Borgs, so you understand that. So it's we are evolving with that, but that's all technology. But you still have to have that human aspect in there to that. So to get back to the soft skills, normally with any of the emerging technology, a lot of the technology companies are looking for people to fill those jobs who have those soft skills, who understand empathy, who has the critical thinking, because that's the other thing that we should have put on there is critical thinking. You got to be able to do that. And so right now where we are, technology can't do that for us, but we have to do that. So you have to have humans who understand critical thinking and be able to do it and then act accordingly. So those are things right now that is needed in some of these spaces, especially around technology field, which I know we're getting ready to go into segue into the hard skills, but I'll talk about the fact that as I was going down this path of cybersecurity in the certificate that I was trying to go after, one of the biggest things that they were looking for in that job was soft skills. They didn't want people with technical skills. They wanted people with soft skills, because with soft skills, it was critical thinking. It was understanding, like visually seeing what's going on, reading between the trends, understanding all that, and being able to activate or whatever you want to do. So, in these fields that we're looking into, even this technology, you still got to have those critical thinking skills, and you got to still be able to have the empathy, and then the leadership, and then calm. If it's a massive storm going on, maybe calm down, be able to calm and execute, right? So we still have to have those skill sets. It's great to have hard skills where the technical side of things, where you're able to fix things and understand, be in the engineering or in the computer science. Those are, or cybersecurity for that matter. Those are great hard skills, but you also got to have mirror them with the soft skills to be able to really execute on whatever you're performing at the time.
Right. Thanks for that, Paula. So to wrap this up with soft skills, y'all, soft skills are personal attributes, right? They're your personality traits, the interpersonal abilities that describe how you work and interact with others. And that's important, right? We brought up how when you're burning hot and you're on the phone and you're with that bot and all you want to do is speak to a human, it is clear that the bot cannot assist there. And sure, maybe it'll improve, but there's always going to be the special cases and the nuances in where the soft skills are needed. But so that's why it's even more important to ensure that you are enhancing the soft skills that we mentioned, their communication skills, empathy, creativity, leadership, critical thinking. These are really important soft skills that's going to be needed in the future of work. It's always been needed in work and is going to be needed even more so as we continue to advance, especially with these emerging technologies.
But I want to say shout out to my introverts, because introverts, we don't have to necessarily, trust me, I get it. But we got to show up because you got the skill sets. Introverts do have the skill sets, believe it or not. They just don't always show them because we're always in behind the scenes. But shout out. But I'm picking on introverts because I am an introvert, by the way. So I can pick on it, and I Google and I laugh about things when people talk about introverts. But some of those introverts out there, yeah, it does take a lot for us to come out. But when we do come out, we have the skill sets to be out there and then go back and close the door and get re-energized. So for introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts, and I think there's another one. All of them. I know we all have skill sets, but I just wanted to shout out specifically to introverts because I get it.
Yeah. You get it, and you better get this job by enhancing all of these soft skill sets because it's needed. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some of the hard skill sets, okay, and what hard skill sets are. Okay, so these are teachable skills, right? They're specific, they're measurable technical abilities in order to provide value into these job spaces, into these workspaces. All right, these are skill sets that are usually acquired through education or training or some sort of experience. Okay, so that's going to be your hard skill sets. And what we believe, what we want to continue to educate ourselves on, train in, and gain experience in is one, technology. All right. So just for clarification, technology is not just for techie people.
Yeah.
Or developers or coders, or that's not what this is. If you are watching this right now, you're using technology. If you're using your cell phone, either you're talking on it or texting on it, you're using technology. When you're driving in your car and you use the GPS system, you're using technology. So technology is not for a specific group of people, it's for everyone. We're using it all the time. But when we're talking about the future of work, which is now, the best way to set yourself up for success in the upcoming days, weeks, months, years is to educate yourself and at least experience the technology that's at our disposal right now. So, Paula, you brought up some already, such as AI, cybersecurity. AI, I think, is a very common term that's being used more than not now. Especially if we're talking about mainstream media, you're going to hear AI a lot. Us becoming more comfortable with that word includes us actually utilizing it.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with it. I'm no doubt.
We're obsessed with AI.
We're obsessed with it. I use AI every day.
Every day.
I have names. So my my colleagues out there, I call them my colleagues because
That's right.
I was having a conversation with um,
Co-pilot.
co-pilot to build out my business model. I'm a business owner, by the way, so that's why I'm doing it. And then I was like, yeah, but da 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 da. Da.
Yeah.
And then when I do my research, I go Plex. I'm like, hey Plex, what's up?
Perplexity.
We need to do some deep dive and research. And then I go to I want to do some chat, or chat knows me. So when I want when I want my boyfriend chat to really know me, I go, yo, chat. What can we do? And then of course, if I want to make sure I'm proper in my grammar punctuality, I go to Graham. I'm like, Graham, check me, make sure my sentences and my commas and my periods and my eds, because I'm bad with those things. Let me just check them and make sure I'm good. Right. Oh, by the way, just make sure my sentences are flowing properly too. So I do that, but I have started falling in love with Claude. Yeah.
Now I'm falling in love with Claude.
Then there's Gemini. Gemini is coming back closely behind, and I'm just like, Jim.
Right.
Jim, you're doing a lot here.
And they all have they also all have their special skill sets.
Yeah.
Right. So these are all writing tools that Paul is calling out here. And of course, there's other types of AI tools, and across the board, they all have something unique about them, or even if they're comparable to one another. And just knowing that now is something that you can learn about, right? So you're aware of AI. You might have heard chat before. You might have heard Gemini, Claude, or Perplexity. You might have heard some of these tools before. And whether you use them or not, even just knowing the differences in between them will let you know whether you want to upskill yourself in these particular areas. By the way, there's upskilling and there's reskilling, right? Mm-hmm. So there's, again, a set of skill sets that we already have and know, and now we want to enhance them, right? So we're going to reskill. And then there's a set of new skill sets that we don't know. We're going to upskill. So it's really important that you're upskilling yourself, especially with tools that you can use. So how does this apply to those who are not necessarily a business owner, or maybe an employee, and have a certain set of tasks, or maybe even just your personal endeavors? And I brought up this point before, that even if you're not in the workforce, but if you're wanting to thrive in this economy and in this digital age that we're in now, then you're going to want to look at other ways to continue to build on your wealth. And so when we're talking about being creative, there's one thing that I and a lot of other entrepreneurs, content creators, you'll hear them talking about this as well, that we believe that you should do is write a book. We all have had life experience to some degree. And so what we know and have experienced can be of value to someone else. And so you can write a book. And a lot of the tools that Paula just mentioned is very useful and helpful in writing a book. This is a time where you don't actually need a publisher. You can self-publish your own content and turn that into a lucrative business for yourself. And utilizing tools like this, a hard skill would be to make sure that you're using tools like this, and that you're utilizing it for something that you could put forth value out into the world.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a lot. There's
a lot that you could do.
I'm just kind of, my mind, I think after that conference and just the consistency, I think there was like over, I forgot how many AIs out there right now, but just the amount of opportunity that's out there. I used to tell when I would go visit high schoolers and the previous mentor job I was in, that the world is yours. The world is yours. It's and the only person who can stop you is you.
That's right.
No one else can stop you. So there's so many opportunities out there, and it's whatever you want to do and whatever you're passionate about. And the only person who can stop you from doing is you. but the world is yours, and the opportunities that are out there are yours, and it's yours to do what you want to do with. And that's so it's out there. Just you just have to go out and grab it. But understand the skill sets and be continuous in learning, continuous learner and learning as you go along, because that's how we evolve. And I don't think anyone can afford to stop learning. If you're in school, you could have to, once you get out of school, it's a continuous thing. Your job hopefully will train you, and through your training, it be continuous. What's funny is when you talk about hard skills, I was thinking about my days at Xerox, and I studied Xerox. So I came into the sell side when Xerox first started, and this is interesting. When Xerox first came out with the machine, it was automatic two-sided copying. Now think about that. Think about where we are today. And when I came into the going outside sales, they just started producing automatic two-sided copying technology. But then you had to have the skills to actually go out. Then I had to go demonstrate. So then I had to go train people on this two-sided automatic copying, be like, oh, get this. No longer putting it on the screen. Now you put it through the automatic document feeder, and everybody's like,
oh,
now you can do 2 to 1, 1 to 2, and 1 and 2 to 2.
Right. Mind blowing.
And then we evolved into learning how to do networking, and then we evolved into color, and all those skills, all that stuff was, we had to learn the tech side, which is the hard skills, and then we had to learn, as a sales rep, you had to learn the soft skills, because you had to learn how to train and teach people to use the machine and in a way that everybody has different learning styles. So you had to understand that. And so it's just amazing when you talk about, I'm like, learning the machine and learning the pathway. I thought that was really interesting. And then my love for technology evolved from there. And it's never gone away. So because of that, with machines, especially with Xerox machines and copiers and color and all that stuff. So you sometimes you just accidentally just go into a passion you didn't know you had. So sometimes you have to be open to what is dropped, what the universe just drops in your lap, and you're like, I don't know if I want to. I'm like, am I really cut off this? But if you're into it, you find that it becomes a passion. Who knew, as an introvert, that I would go into technology, and then who knew I would be in sales.
Wow. Thanks for painting that picture for us and for the audience too, because that's important. And we've all experienced that to some degree, with the exception of certain generations, right? Some sort of change. We look at that through radio. We can look at that through TV. There's so many spaces in which technology has always advanced civilization, and so we want to continue to upskill. Sorry. Okay, I think I confused it. Now I just remembered. Upskilling.
Well, don't have me try to do.
Wait, I got it. Upskilling is deepening the skill sets you already know. Reskilling is learning an entirely new job and duty. Okay, so we want to continue to upskill our current skill sets. So one thing that I've noticed that happens a lot with baby boomers is so anybody can attest to this. This is no shot, no shade. Okay, just
my parents were baby boomers, so we can talk about them. I have front row seats of baby boomers, but go ahead.
Same. So currently now, if my mother has a technical question, she calls me into the room and I have to answer it. And for me, it's very simple, right? It's a click of a button to find out where the reply button is in the email, right? They have all these arrows, but it doesn't have any words. Where is it, right? And now, for me, especially playing with a lot of these new technologies, I'm pressing everything. Like, I just want to know what things do. But, there was this thing where it's like, oh, as you age, that you become more fearful of things. Like, I'm scared if I press it that it's going to shut off the entire computer, or I'm going to lose my email, right? And it's like, what? But the one thing that I know and that I've learned and experienced for myself is that one thing that eradicates fear is knowledge.
Yeah.
The same thing with AI, right? So it doesn't matter what mainstream media says. If you don't explore these things for yourself, if you don't upskill your current skill sets, what you don't use, you lose. So that makes sense, right? We have to continue. The brain acts like a muscle, even though it's an organ. So we want to continue to flex that muscle as much as possible, learn new things, and deepen our skill sets as much as possible. So a couple other um, skills here that falls into hard skill sets, which I think is really important, is business skills. I know that we have so many entrepreneurs
Mm.
and professionals in our community, in our network. And even if AI, for example, is able to be a proficient and effective accountant, project manager, or build a financial model for you, one thing that any AI expert will actually tell you to do is to make sure you double, triple, quadruple check that work.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a just one and done, like chat writes this thing out for me and then I just use it. It's so possible that plagiarism still comes up, and
Well, let me
we
stop you. I'm gonna stop you there so you can throw in the terminology. Do that so if people who are not aware are aware, and you can continue. So excuse me for the interruption,
no, go
but
ahead.
it's called hallucination. So
Hallucination.
let's use the terminology that people are using so you're aware of what's going on. So hallucination, and my apologies for interjection, but go
No,
ahead.
that's perfect. Yeah. So AI hallucinates, and in many of the tools, right? So again, we're focused here in this conversation on writing tools, but I know as an artist, it does it in the art tools too. It hallucinates, right? So we need to check our work, and I know for a fact that I want to have a person accountant. Okay, I want to have a human accountant. It would be great if AI can help me outline and set up and help me prepare my taxes beforehand, but I'm still going to go and take it to a professional, a person, in-person professional. Okay, so still having your professionals at hand, which, yeah, you could bring AI tools into your business, but as a hard skill, we're still going to train ourselves, we're still going to educate ourselves and gain experience in this area. um Two others, trades. Okay,
Mhm.
so we still will need people to operate machinery, welding, uh, electricians, plumbers. We're still going to need people in those professions, even while AI will be implemented into those or businesses as well, because it goes hand in hand. We work together, right? So those learning a trade is a really great idea, even if you got even if you went to college, or you get your bachelor's, you get your master's, that's great. If you could still learn a trade, though, if you can explore a trade, I'd recommend it. It is, I think, it's something that'll always be around to fall back on. Also, being able to work with our hands, very unique to the human species. So that is something that should live long, like it always has.
I have one
Oh,
that it's a serious matter, Shana. I just want to let you know it's very serious
uh-oh.
that you're never gonna get rid of
Let's see.
a bartender.
As soon as I knew it was serious, I knew it was a joke. But at the same time, you're not lying, right? Bartender, yeah.
I need a mixologist. I'm not gonna be
Come
able to.
on.
Who's gonna mix my drinks for me?
Come on. And the art of the mixing of the drink, the art.
What
The
is that,
art.
Shana? Is that a drink?
I wish. After the podcast.
In all seriousness, I'm joking, but I'm also serious because
Serious,
if you
yeah.
think about it, who bartenders are, um, for those who are young, close your ears. But the bartenders are lifesavers in certain aspects in terms of just when you go to a place and they're there and they make you happy sometimes with whatever your needs are. So yeah, but that's not being replaced. That's a skill set that, to be honest, that takes a certain person to be able to understand how to mix all those drinks and understand the whole science behind it. There's a science behind that too.
Absolutely. Chefs, waitresses, which goes back to those soft skills that we were mentioning too, and how that complements each other so well, right? We want human touch. There we literally are designed with an hormone inside of our bodies, oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin, all of these things that we get from connecting with other people, right? So bartender, chef, waitresses, these jobs that we're mentioning is still really important as a
Yeah.
part of both business and trade. Um,
Beauty, all the beauty
yeah,
beauticians out there
estheticians,
who make
estheticians,
us beautiful.
yeah. And finally, at least for what's on our list, because the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Languages, right? Like I actually wanted to be multilingual and study several different languages. I don't know why I didn't go down that route, but obviously because I was supposed to do other things, and maybe that's still a thing. But we're still going to need people to travel the world and be able to connect with others, right? So languages
Mhm.
are global. That is still a hard skill set that you get to learn in school and practice and train and then still take into the workforce is still going to be a demand, right, from the jobs. So these are things that to just think about. Again, whether you're a student right now, whether you're already in the workforce, or whether you're retired. Again, I really want to emphasize that even if you are retired, this is still important. Something that my mentors keep saying, and I appreciate so much, is you don't know how long you're gonna live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to outlive your family, your friends, the people that you're depending on, only to be lost in this world because you didn't do yourself the due diligence of just being open to learn or to have the conversation, to tune into a community who's constantly having these conversations. So even if it's not you doing it by yourself, you don't have to do it by yourself. You get to do it with us. You get to do it with Disruptor DAO. You get to do it with others who are like-minded and who are having similar conversations. Like skill sets are skill sets. We use them in work for sure, but you're also using it in your personal life. The way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. But definitely as we're talking about preparing ourselves for the changing job landscapes, these are just some of the skills that we believe are important. These are some of the skills and practicalities that we're going to be talking about at the virtual summit, which again is October 25th from 9 to 2 p.m. is going to be a live webinar. We're going to be discussing the
Well,
innovative careers.
we got well. Technically, we're gonna kick it off at 8:45 with our Wellness Wednesdays
Yes.
um, mindset. So
You know
go. I'm
what? Then we need to adjust that because we definitely want you to be there. I think a part of this, which is a lot of where the resistance comes from, and just being open to this conversation is the mindset. So the mindset needs to shift, right, in order for us to be able to see this entire process through. So you definitely want to tune in at 8:45 on October 25th for our third annual virtual summit, The Future of Work, where we're going to discuss innovative career and business pathways, AI tools for success. We got future insights for you. We're going to be talking about cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity? Well, you got to come to the summit to find out more.
Yeah, the
And
job skills you need, the skills that you're going to need for these jobs
yeah,
in the future. And we have a powerful lineup. I'm not going to spill that just yet, but the lineup is I'm excited
tired.
about it. It's powerful. It's
Yeah,
powerful. So I'm excited about it. I'm going to be taking my notes as I have 4 different notebooks. So I'll be taking my notes
yeah,
and apply. The key here is once you take the notes, is you got to apply these things.
yes.
So you gotta go back and try to apply them to whatever you're trying to do.
Right. And that's why it's so important to stay in community because we get to hold each other accountable. We get to hold hands as we go faster and further together into the future. So Paul is absolutely right. Knowledge is power in action. So we're not only going to talk about these things, but we're going to show you how to apply these things as well. So it's time to future proof your skills, y'all. Make sure that you are at our third annual virtual summit on October 25th from 8:45 a.m. to 2 p.m. We look forward to having you there. Paula, any other closing remarks before we close this out?
Hmm. No, I think we need to talk about languages because I'm with you on the languages. I wanna be multilingual because
Oh,
we're no longer silos as the United States. We're global, and
yeah.
so I would love to be able to communicate with the world.
Yeah. At least bilingual. At least enough. And I mean, America's the only country who does not actually learn another language.
Well, we it's optional
That's optional to
in
learn.
schools instead of mandatory. We need to have it. It needs to be education needs to be have a mandatory on languages.
Absolutely, like everyone else. Like, why not? But okay, yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But we look forward to seeing y'all back here. We got our dropping our next episode next Friday on October 10th. Make sure that you head down to the description box to find out how you can stay in tune with us and also to register for the summit. The link is down in the description box, so you could go ahead and quickly snap a quick shot of this QR code here. But until next Friday, y'all, we see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.